Fueled by Deathcast.
I've been able to kind of, see you go through this journey with Toys That Made Us, and it's something that, it wasn't just an idea that hit your desk and you're like, let's just try to make this happen. This was a passion project for you from the beginning, from the inception of the idea. And to, be able to pour yourself into that and to, cross your fingers and toes and hope that it works out the way that you would love for it to work out, and to now be into season 3, that just, as a fan, that makes me so happy for you. And it's also so amazing to see someone who is creative and passionate about something and have it, come to fruition like this.
Well, I'm living it, so imagine how I feel. Yeah. We're doing the show now for Disney Plus with The Rock. Would not have happened without Toys That Made Us. I mean, the entire thing happened because The Rock loved Toys That Made Us. His people reached out to us to get in business. That's how much he loved the show. And the guys running Disney Plus are all huge fans of the show. So like, it's literally changed everything about like my day-to-day business life.
That's so awesome. And going back to like season 1, obviously as a fan, that had 4 great episodes. Obviously my favorite was Star Wars because I'm such a Star Wars nerd. And season 2, my favorite episode is the most surprising episode ever is the Hello Kitty episode, because I had next to no information about that line and now know so much little nuances about how Hello Kitty came to be and learned so much from that. And I'm so excited for season 3. I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a huge part of my childhood, but wrestling, My Little Pony, and Power Rangers also too, just make this succinct thing. And again, going back to your first appearance on this show, 2 of those were things that you were surprised about. You were telling us that how surprising it was when you were looking into Power Rangers and wrestling and the core audiences behind that and the toys that came out of that. Now into season 3, are you still getting surprised by the show, by making the show?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's no way around that, because first of all, the thing that's so interesting about the toy world is, it was funny. Doing Movies That Made Us allowed me to have a point of view on Toys That Made Us because with the Movies That Made Us, it made me appreciate that like with movies, everybody always wants to talk about it. So like we would go to the actors, the producers, the directors, and they're like, I can't talk about Die Hard anymore. I've been talking about Die Hard for 40 years. Like I got nothing. But then you got someone like Jim Swearingen, who contributed as much to my childhood as anybody. All that guy wants to do is tell his secrets and his stories and everything. So everyone we talked to, especially people we hadn't talked to before, especially for the My Little Pony episode, and even to a certain extent the wrestling episode, I mean, we got a lot of scoop. And, one of the things that was also great about season 3, if you remember, we shot seasons 1 and 2 simultaneously.
Right.
So we didn't really have any extra help in season 2 from season 1 because we did them at the same time. Season 3, a great example is Saban. Saban does not like doing interviews, period.
Wow.
His least favorite interviews to do on Earth are about Power Rangers. He's been talking about it for 30 years.
It's true.
His people reached out to us to say, how come you did My Little Pony? How come you did Hello Kitty and Star Trek and not Power Rangers? You need to do Power Rangers. So we got an interview with him without even trying, where I guarantee you, if Power Rangers was in season 1 or 2, we wouldn't have gotten Saban. He watched the show and loved it because of the comedy and the pathos. So even when we interviewed him, all his people were like, including setup, you have an hour. Like, you have an hour, you have an hour, you have an hour. We were with him for almost 3 hours.
Wow.
Like, his people would hand him notes, and he'd be like, get out of here. Like, he couldn't have been happier. And part of it was he loved the, like, storytelling style. that we use. But the other thing, which was really interesting, which he told me after the interview, was he could tell we had done the research, and like he was like 8 out of every 10 questions people asked, I'd never been asked before.
Wow.
And that's why it went almost 3 hours, because he'd never been asked. And the reason we were able to do that is because we do pre-interviews, for months, and we're able to, we'll talk to John Doe or Jane Doe, and, they worked on Power Rangers for 9 months in 1992, but they had a great story. So we spend the time talking to them, and then that allows us to go to him and say, hey, what about this? And he's like, I haven't thought about that in 30 years. Oh my God, I'll tell you what really happened. So we got a lot of scoop.
That's so exciting.